and welcome to Homeschool Advice with Laura Geis. I'm Laura Geis, author of the Homeschool Toolkit and founder of HomeschoolAdviceOnline.com. Well, it's summer vacation in my homeschool, so I thought I'd take a few questions about things you can do during your summer vacation. So this week's question says, there is so much homeschooling curricula available now. I'm confused. How do I know which one to choose? Well, that's a big question. Actually, I'm traveling to Akron, Ohio later this month, and I'm going to give an hour-long presentation on choosing curriculum. So in the next 5 minutes, I don't think I can tell you everything there is to know about it. What I'd like to do this week is give you the first step, and the next couple weeks after that, give you some more steps that you can take so that you can choose the best curriculum for you and your family. So this week, step number 1 is to begin with the end in mind. And I like to compare that to going to the grocery store. If you know what you're going in the grocery store for, let's say you want to get a meal on the table in the evening and you're there in the afternoon, you're much more likely to buy the things at the grocery store that you need if you make a list and you know what you want the final result to be. Whereas if you go in the grocery store with no list and no idea of what you're doing in there, you just want to buy some food, you'll end up making all kinds of impulse purchases and you'll have a cart full of groceries and you'll get home and there still won't be anything for dinner in the evening. So begin with the end in mind when you're choosing curriculum. And by that I mean take some time and figure out all the subjects that you want to teach. List math, reading, science, history, handwriting, all of those. And then sit down and do some thinking about what do I want my students to know in each of those subjects. For instance, in reading, let's say you have a 5th grade boy in reading. What do you want him to know at the end of the school year next year? Does he need some more help in phonics? Maybe he's still struggling with his phonics a little bit. Or maybe there are some certain novels that you want him to study this year. Then jot that down. Or maybe he's not familiar with some of the literary terms and you want to start getting him used to some of those. What is a simile? What is a metaphor? What are the different types of figurative language? Well, then you might want to include something like that in your planning for the year. So really sit down and think about where you want things to end up. Art is another good example. In art, there are so many things you can choose from. You can do drawing, painting, art history, art appreciation, and there's no way to really do all of that in 1 year. So choose what you want your focus to be for the coming year and list that out, and that's going to dictate what kind of curriculum you're going to want to buy. If you do it the opposite way, where you just go in an exhibit hall, let's say in the convention, and you don't really have any idea of where you're heading with all of this, then you end up buying things and trying to patch it together, but you're not really getting to the goal that you want to get toward. So spend some time at the beginning thinking about where you want to end up at the end of the year. So this week, you work on that. I'll be back next week with tip number 2, which will tell you how to explore all your options, where you can find out about the curriculum, some sources for curriculum, and then how can you narrow those choices down to where in the 3rd week we'll finally choose the best curriculum for you. Now, if you haven't yet, visit my website at www.homesschooladviceonline.com and sign up for your free handbook. And in July, I'm going to be launching a new project, the Homeschool Startup Kit, which will help you set up your school, manage your time, manage your home, all while, teaching your children at home. So I hope this helps. I look forward to seeing you next week.